about the meeting, and after a 3-hour-long high-stakes meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump, both the presidents have departed. The presidents also attended the press briefing after taking the talks. What we are learning is that both the presidents have departed a military base in Alaska following their summit on the conflict in Ukraine that remained inconclusive. The two leaders' planes took off from the joint base and within minutes of one another that they have held during the 3 hours of talk on the wall. That has raged for more than 3 years since Moscow has launched its all-out invasive of the neighbor in the early 2022. Brian, both the presidents have left after concluding the meeting and addressing the joint press briefing. While the meeting is still now, in fact, leaving both the nations in doubt after Moscow had launched the offensive. Now, it remains to be inconclusive as to what happens after the Ukrainian president also pitches in and, in fact, speaks on this matter.
Well, clearly, Donald Trump clearly stated the fact that he would, after the summit, he would dial NATO leaders, he would dial Zelensky also, and he would also plan to have a direct meeting between the two leaders. And clearly, they even addressed a joint conference also, the joint conference that had many important developments. Be it a closed-door talks with top advisors and on efforts to end Russia's war in Ukraine. The event also ended without any questions from the media or details being shared on Ukraine's future. But very importantly, Trump said that he and Putin did not reach a deal to end the conflict, despite Putin claiming that they've come to an understanding. But yes, very importantly, both leaders offered only broad remarks praising each other, but revealing little about substantive progress. Yes.
Well, all right. On that note, now, Brian, stay on with us. We learn more updates about what happened after. The Kremlin, in a statement, has stated that negotiations with the American delegation in the narrow format have ended. This statement has come after President Putin and President Donald Trump have held a high-stake meeting in Moscow, after which they also had a press briefing. All right, Brian, what more details are you picking up as the statement from the Kremlin is concerned?
Clearly, negotiations with the American delegation in the narrow format have concluded, and the Kremlin also said in a short statement, and the bilateral meeting between both US President Donald Trump and Zelensky, Vladimir Putin, lasted over 3 hours. And very importantly, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov also and US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, along with the other officials, were also present. And the fact that the two leaders had not moved on to their expanded bilateral luncheon also after an hour and a half was also seen as a sign that Trump, at least so far, did not feel compelled to walk as he had earlier promised to do if the talks were going south. And even very importantly, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky was also not present for the ongoing meeting, even as the two leaders discussed the Russia-Ukraine conflict. But yes, Trump has stated that he would also try for a direct meeting between the two leaders. And very importantly, he said he would be calling Zelensky as well as European leaders, NATO members, to brief them about the results. And Trump has also made it clear that this is his eventual goal would be to set up a direct meeting to end the war. And he also said, and that happened on Wednesday rather, when he said that it could happen almost immediately if the meeting went well. But yes, again, to come to a conclusion how the meeting went, it is still a point in question, because they said that yes, it has come to an understanding as of now, but again, it has not been said if it's a direct, if it is actually ending any conflict as such. And Zelensky also said that Ukraine's #1 demand of the Alaska summit is for Russia to agree to a ceasefire, but then it did not happen. And only a ceasefire could provide for basis of meaningful, peaceful talks. And Ukraine and its European allies also said the same. Yes.